same fucking bullshit that it did before. It fucking made me schedule this shit.
Yeah, that's going to be the way it is from now on, Stone.
Well, that's fucking retarded. There's no reason for that. But whatever. And now,
You're lucky
hopefully,
we don't have a place where we can just air our live chats without having to deal with Google and YouTube.
Stone Guy, you're live. The gods of Google are listening. Be careful what you say, blasphemer.
yeah, whatever. So I've got, well, I don't know. It's 4 people watching. So is this? I don't know if this is even showing up on YouTube.
I'll check YouTube right now. Hang on.
But who knows? Either way, it's ridiculous.
I think YouTube just doesn't like you tonight.
Well, that's the other fucking thing. You had to say whether or not, like, it gave you a thing that said public, acquaintances, and all that bullshit. So I had to, this time, I clicked public.
So you can tell you what's going on, because...
Is it still not on YouTube?
I'm still not seeing it on YouTube. Now maybe it's my end, but I doubt that. Usually your shit pops right up.
I just checked and it's not on there either. On mine.
Okay, so it's not my end. Although it says you're live on Google Plus.
Is there a button to post it to YouTube now?
Where did you go to start the chat from?
My YouTube. That's where I always go.
Yeah, but tell me where. Like, what did you click on?
I go into my channel, and then I go to upload. You click on upload, and there's a thing that says start broadcast on air, and I clicked on that.
Right.
And now it's all fucking weird now.
Huh.
Like, it's completely it's fucked up. It's not, they completely, I don't know what the fuck they did. If they've merged my channel, I don't know. If they fucked my channel up, and I just don't get it.
Oh, shit. Is your YouTube email, the one that you use for StoneGuy223, the same account as the Google Plus account you're on right now?
What do you mean?
I have like 3 Gmail addresses for different things. My YouTube page is not connected to my Google Plus.
Yeah.
Well, no, I've never had that. That's what I'm saying. I've never had that issue.
It's the same logo and the same call sign on the screen that he normally has. And when I look at his video, it shows up under StoneGuy223.
In YouTube?
And I am subscribed to it. Yeah, there's 9 people watching it, according to mine.
So it is showing up on YouTube.
Stone Guy, go back to YouTube, then go to, I think it's, let's see. Yeah, Video Manager. That'll work. And then go down to Live Events.
Yeah, if I go to your page directly, I see it. But if I look in my subscriptions, I don't see it.
Well, they're probably just screwing with stuff tonight. They screw with stuff all the time. And we're just catching it.
But that's if you want to.
Of course, they're going to do it during prime time.
If you want to see it on your channel, see if it's up and posted on your channel.
Go to my channel.
Video Manager, and then you'll see down the side Live Events.
If I go to Stone's channel, oh, here it is. It showed up in my subscriptions now, so your viewer count will start going up. Matter of fact, I'm showing 13 people watching, so it's climbing real quick now.
Alright,
I just liked it, and I added it to my channels, or videos that I've been I've been in.
Yeah, Stone, you're gaining like 3 people like every couple of seconds now.
Yeah, now see, Tech Daddy. See the first one?
You watch like 8 people every couple of
Oh,
seconds.
dude. Oh, guess what, though? That first video I put out, it already posted, but it posted under private, unlisted, so watch this shit. I'll make that bitch go public. You'll get to hear that rant.
Yes. That won't confuse anybody, and then they won't think that this just broke and call it.
Yeah, you should probably wait till after this is over before you make that one public.
Well, that's just gonna go in like an old video or whatever. I don't know. What the fuck. I don't
Until
know.
after you're done with this.
All right, well, fuck it. Sorry, everybody that's watching or not watching now. Well, fucking freaked out because Google's fucking around with my channel and the broadcast shit, and it's pissing me off. And
It's not just you, Stone Guy.
so
Again, this is the Stone Guy Anger Management class where he's going to share his anger management techniques
Right.
with all of you audience members. First
Why do
is
I-
when you're upset, release the anger by saying the F word as much as possible.
well, they say
Degrade the thing that makes you angry.
if you get it out, like statistically speaking, people that release their anger live longer than people that keep it bottled in. So, we'll see. We'll see about that. But anyway, let's get to it, guys. I appreciate it. We got some new people on tonight. Space Buns joined us. So, what's up, girl?
Hey, how you doing?
You know, same old shit, different day. Next to her, we've got Mr. Cork71.
Google sucks.
And next to him, we got Sully,
How's it going?
Nathan's Armory.
Screw it, we're doing it live.
Weasel. Or Weedle, what the fuck is his name? Jacob, sorry. And then Huck, Ghost Town Custom Knives. Some of the highest quality, best made U.S. manufactured knives you can buy. Ghost Town Custom.
One of the best customizers out there.
And then we got gun websites.
Hey, thanks for the link.
And G, who's G over here?
That's me. My icon used to be that pigeon.
Oh, right on. Yeah, cool. All right, man. Well, Sully, start us off, man, because I know you wanted to talk about. I'm sure by now everybody's heard about Will from Red Jacket being arrested for a second time, and apparently Flem. If you guys remember Flem, he was kind of the dude with the shaved head ponytail that worked in the gun shop.
The machine gun specialist.
Right. Yeah, he was the helicopter gunner in the military, but I think he posted something that you had looked up, and
Yeah,
give us a brief rundown of that.
Well, while we were doing the Tech Daddy show there, somebody in the comments brought to my attention that Glenn Fleming had put out a post about what's going on. I'm going to post that in the chat, but I'm going to give you the short version. Pretty much, he says that he's privy to more information than all of us are, which makes sense, and that he believes that this actually occurred.
Oh, no shit.
Yeah, but he does open it up, and like I said, I'll put this on here for you guys to read. It's rather long. He opens up with, I believe, in the innocent until proven guilty, but then says he believes the little girl, and that if it's true, they should find the tallest tree and hang Will Hayden from it with piano wire. Moving on from that, Will Hayden, for those who don't know, was arrested a second time a couple days ago, and now there's supposedly a signed affidavit from his youngest daughter, who most people don't even know about, saying that she had been pretty much on a daily basis for the last 2 years molested and or raped by Will Hayden, and that she was too scared to admit it for fear of repercussions.
Damn.
Now, my personal take on it, which I said in Tag Daddy Show, is we'll see where it comes out in court, and I'm not going to rush to judgment because regardless of what's out there on the internet right now, she could be being coerced by her mother, who is no longer with Will Hayden, and is the one who brought the original thing up, which was adamantly denied. Furthermore, Red Jacket has separated themselves from Will Hayden because it is a partnership between Chris Ford, Joe Maddox, and Will Hayden. Because for those who like to talk shit about Red Jacket, know that Will and Stephanie Hayden lost their license to manufacture because of missing guns.
Yeah, that happened a while back. That's why.
Right.
What's
They
his
still
name?
don't have those back. That's why Vince.
Oh yeah. Well, yeah. That's right. When Vince was originally
Yep.
partnered up, he was the FFL holder.
Right.
And that's why it was such a big deal when he left the show, because Discovery Channel was like, "What the hell? if he leaves, we can't do a show because you can't, you can't have a gun shop, basically.
Right. So enter Joe and Chris. They both got those licenses and were the legal end of the show as far as everything I've been able to find out.
With regard to the girl possibly being coerced, I guess the what do you call them, professionals or whatever, the psychologists say that if children are lying about these kind of things, that they'll usually admit it within 3 years. The guilt will get to them.
Right, but I mean, you're talking
Yeah, I know.
3 years of being in a prison.
Yeah.
And last time I remember anything about Will Hayden, isn't he like one of those essentially volunteer sheriffs down there?
Yeah, I mean, he was a former Marine. He's,
Yeah. There's a lot of accolades and a lot of things that are going to be damaged from this. So
that Joe guy must be so pissed. And what's up, everybody on the panel?
Tech Daddy jumping in from South Florida.
Have you taken your has anyone given Stone Guy some sort of sedative to calm him down?
Oh, dude.
Oh, a lady joined the panel. He immediately changed as soon as there was a woman here.
What's up, Space Bonds?
Hey.
How you been?
Good.
Good. Are you waiting for an arrival? Is that correct? You're
That
waiting
is
for someone to show up at your place. I saw a moving truck somewhere along the way, somewhere on a
Wait,
somewhere.
You talking like pregnant?
No, stop.
No, yeah, Matt's in New Mexico tonight on his way.
Matt's making the trek.
Oh, sweet. Y'all are going to move in together?
Yeah, he's moving out here, yep.
Oh, that's awesome. Congratulations.
Thanks.
So hopefully he's tuning in and catching up when he's driving. Maybe he can catch a podcast or a YouTube chat. So what's up? Travel safely, brother. And once again, good to see you, Spaceman.
Thank you.
So getting back to the Will thing, this is the first I've heard of it. But my question in these sorts of incidents always is, so I'm guessing this is a.
Well, hold on. Let me hold you up for 1 second. If this is the first you heard of it, let me give you the first arrest.
Okay.
The first arrest was about 3 days before the second one. The allegations came in from the girl's mother, his ex-wife, who was also at one point employed by Red Jacket Firearms. She was fired, and then they divorced, and she was really pissed about it. She made the allegations. Child Protective Services has interviewed this little girl after the first arrest and released her back to Will Hayden's home. So it looked like nothing was going to come of it, and it was just bullshit. And then the second arrest comes. And that's where you get her allegedly signing an affidavit, and the sheriff's department goes over there. And also, to my knowledge, Will Hayden has not been bailed out at this point on the second arrest, so he's still in jail.
So is this Will's and hers daughter?
Yes, this is Will's biological daughter, not of the same mother as Stephanie.
Okay, that's what I was trying to find out. And then,
I forgot.
So he got custody he's had custody since 2013 ever?
Right, when they got divorced, he got custody of her, and he lived with him.
Well, I'm sure the ex-wife is a real gem if he got custody, but okay, that gives me more background, so now my question is moot because of that background information. Thank you.
Okay, well, I figured you needed the rest of the information if it was the first you heard of it.
Because I thought this was like one of those incidents, and I know it happens where there's a guy who marries a girl or, hooks up with a girl, she has a daughter, and then you're like, where's the mom when all this is supposedly happening? But if he had full custody, then that explains that, if it did happen. So. Right.
He does not look healthy in the mug shots, for the record.
Yeah, he really doesn't. Matter of fact, I don't know if over watching the show, because I've watched every season of that show. He went from what I would think is his natural size of being heavy, full in the face and healthy looking, to really, I don't want to use strung out but that's how he looked.
Well, I'll tell you that I met Stephanie at SHOT Show, and this leads to something because I forgot to call out that asshole on the Tag Day Live show. But to that asshole that put that comment on that video today, basically he put it's funny, but you're still an asshole. He put a comment in the video because I was talking to Stephanie and I said, hey, would you mind getting me some autographs for my girls? They love your show. So someone put in the comment section, your girls love their show. He probably loves your girls. I was like, you motherfucker.
Oh, that's fucked up.
Dude, I don't agree with that even being funny. That just makes me want to punch whoever said that.
Well, again, fuck that guy, whoever he is. I forget who he
It's
is.
not funny at all. And I'm single, don't have a
and,
kids.
and I have a daughter, so that pisses me off.
Yeah,
Well, I have
that
two, and
is-
it's me, and I was slightly offended, but
So anyway,
I don't get offended, to be honest with you.
I don't know, man. That'll definitely be something. I think we could all agree that, it is innocent till proven guilty. You hate to, try the guy via the internet before we know all the facts, and it could be that he's got a vindictive ex that is, who knows? There's so many potential variables that.
Now,
Especially when you're talking about something like that. If it was anything else, I'd say, fuck it, let's all speculate and, and throw it around. But, when you're talking about something like this, it's like, I feel like this is more serious than murder. Like, this is like the holy grail of crimes,
I want to say this. I hope if he is found guilty, and this is if he's found guilty, he gets thrown in Gen Pop and not in isolation.
yeah, I'll tell you right now, I was a correctional officer very briefly. Not the job for me. Didn't like it. Not a one bit. He won't go to general population anywhere near a county. If he was at all involved with law enforcement, he'll be PC'd.
I know. That's why I said I hope he
Now,
go to Gen Pop.
Between that and the fact that he's on a TV show, they're not going to put him in general pop.
Right, and they can't put him in general population pretty much anywhere in the country because of that TV show.
I know, but that's what I'd really
But
want to have.
Here's my personal feelings on it. I've watched the show. I like the show. I really hope this is not true. If it turns out to be the truth and he really did it, I kind of agree with the last couple lines of what Glenn Fleming said in his Facebook post.
Oh, what'd he say? Go, read us some
I
excerpts.
put it in the chat, so I'll flip through here. He does mention, okay, I'm going to break the silence on the stuff that's been happening. My final comments on it, also be prepared. I don't have to watch what I say because of the TV show. So he immediately claims that the TV show is probably done and over with, so he doesn't have to worry about anything coming back on him. The first thing he says is literally, first off, I'm going to go with innocent till proven guilty because that's the law of the land. But there's a ton of evidence out there. I'm privy to a little more information than most of y'all. And I can tell you guys it's fucked up. Like, I don't even want to know what I know fucked up. That's direct quote. He goes on to say, I've known the accuser for a while now, and I can tell you 100% I believe her. So he believes the little girl. And then he goes on to say she's not looking for cash, she's doing what's right. Some people think it's still the ex-wife trying to get back at him, or some silly shit like that. Then he acknowledges that Will Hayden and Discovery and Jupiter Productions jump-started his career, and he thanks them and most of the people at Red Jacket. And then the closing paragraph is, now to the point at hand. This may sound harsh. I'll even pronounce his typos. This may sound harsh, but you know what? Fuck it. If he is guilty, hang him from the tallest tree with piano wire. I consider the folks I was on the show with my friends, and I will always be there for them. And I hate what the family is going through. But remember, one egotistical asshole did this. I'm sure he can find one bullet. That was not well written. But
Ouch.
so, yeah, he, I guess, firmly believes that this, what he's been arrested for, he'll get convicted of, and believes everything behind it.
Strong fleminence.
I see what you did there. That was a good one there, Tech. Well, what else is space? Since you don't get on here much, I just saw your post on your channel, MSN Horror Headlines. Give us a brief synopsis on what that's all about.
Oh, it's just some observations I've been noticing looking at the headlines. MSN declaring that 2 young American boys have died in Syria who were fighting with ISIS. And I don't know about the background, how much research has actually been done to confirm those allegations, but what caught my attention and what concerns me is the connection of United States citizens and ISIS. And once again, the American population anybody can be a terrorist at this point. And so I was just kind of pointing that out. Again, maybe they really were fighting for ISIS. Maybe that was really their cause. But they're now dead, and we'll never know. And they were apparently both went to the same high school, and they were buddies in high school. So that was one of the headlines that I was commenting on. And I was just commenting on how MSN also was stating that the Ferguson Police Department has been sued for $40 million, when in fact they haven't been sued. There's just a suit coming up, you know what I'm saying? And just the way that they word things, and they just make it so final, and like, yeah, they're being sued, now everybody can relax, and again, what would suing really accomplish? Not much, the taxpayers hold that burden, so.
And don't worry, the banks have paid their penalties for all those people they fucked, and so they're back to
Right.
normal.
Yeah.
They
So
paid
it's
their
okay.
penalty. They've been scolded, so you guys just go back to all those shitty loans you have.
Now the ISIS thing. Let's touch on that because you're talking about that. I know the one that I saw was a black guy, right? Is that the one you saw had pretty
Yep.
colorful looking black dude?
Yeah.
And I mean, I don't know. To me, and correct me if I'm wrong, but what I'm seeing is now over the years there's been plenty of American true, born and raised Westerners that have gone to places, in the Middle East and fought against other Americans. That's not unheard of. But like you said, it seems like they're setting the stage or setting a precedent for being able to maybe justify
Yep.
some of the upcoming actions or
Yeah.
or you know what I'm trying to get at, like
Yeah.
they'd be able to justify what they're going to do by citing these guys, if they want to
Exactly.
if they want to start really infringing on our rights and just using the fact that, oh well, hey, these guys were Americans and they were terrorists, so now we're going to be leery of all Americans that could be terrorists.
So let me get this right. Two guys who are civilians, who are born in the U.S., are civilians, they go off the reservation and go to another country to fight for them. Same as if I went and joined the French Foreign Legion and this is news.
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing. Why is it news? Is it news because they're trying to establish a benchmark to, to be able to cite a case, kind of like case law, where they once a judgment or a ruling's been established, future cases can cite that case and say, well, so and so versus so and so, it ruled like this. So
Yeah.
when they come and kick in your door because you're suspected terrorism or you're a suspected terrorist for whatever internet search you did or guns you may have or whatever the case may be, they would be able to
Internet search
say
for guns.
under the pretense of we have domestic terrorists proven. Remember the two black guys? They went to fight for ISIS. That's a proof of domestic terrorism. You know what I mean?
Yep, that's kind of what I was getting at. I put the link in here for you guys.
Yeah, that guy has the same crappy beard they have over there. It's amazing.
Some jack teeth.
Yeah.
Again,
Yeah, so
just like they have over there.
Like
Did you see the video of him?
ISIS dental plan.
Did you see the video of him? He's like, y'all want to know where the real party is? It's right here. And he's like, in sand. I mean, like, he's very confident.
Well, here's the thing: is let's face it. I mean, ever since the Black Panther Party movement in Vietnam, they've been able to say that they're, people who could be considered domestic terrorists. This is nothing new.
Right.
We've had what the government has described as militant groups from the inside that have to be watched. This is, I don't know. I just see this as old news. I don't see anything
Don't
coming of
forget-
this.
They're-
The American people aren't going to care.
All the saber rattling about the lone wolf.
I think that it ties in to all the ISIS fear that's going on right now. I was watching news the other day at the car dealership, and it was like ISIS, ISIS, ISIS. ISIS in the United States, ISIS attacking, ISIS already here. It's just constant. So
literally 6 weeks ago, you really didn't even hear much about them. Definitely 3 months ago.
But yet they've been over there for, years, centuries, or decades.
It sounds to me like somebody's wagging the dog, trying to rally support and dissuade focus from other things.
And in that case, what are they trying to draw the focus away from?
That's a good question. You never know. I mean,
Are they trying to get people to forget about the Ferguson riots, or were they using the Ferguson riots to draw people's attention away from something else also?
well, that was the other news that was on that day, and this was Saturday. Last Saturday, it was ISIS and Ferguson. Those were the only two things on CNN on Saturday.
Maybe they found that Malaysian jet, and they don't want anybody to know where they found it.
And they quit talking about it. I mean, isn't it funny how the news stories just disappear and just people just forget about them? You know what I mean? It's like,
Yep.
Remember the daily scans? We've scanned this area. Now we're going to scan this area. And now it's
they didn't know what the hell they were doing. I mean, there were so many. There was just so many. When they said that they found debris, they found like pieces of the seat and stuff, and they reported on that, and then like an hour later they said no, that was just something that looked like the seats. It wasn't the seats, and I mean, it's like God, the news. They just jump on the, they want to be the first. That's with everything though. They want to be the first to break the story, so they're willing to tell half truths or downright lie in some cases, or fabricate stories just to be the first ones on scene.
All right, I'm going to confess real quick. I think I've fallen for Megan Fox. Or Megan Kelly on Fox. Oh, I just sat and let her stare into my eyes for a while the other night, or vice versa. No, I'm just kidding. The people they throw out there to mesmerize people into watching the news, and then the way that they drone it into your head, it's pretty unbelievable these days. It's pretty obvious if you really watch it.
Well, that's like Robin Meade. That's who I watch every morning, so.
I don't know who he is.
Fuck you. Robin Meade. You don't know who Robin Meade is? Seriously?
Send me a link.
She's so hot. What?
For the gun people out there, there's a cool show that I watched a week ago or something like that. There's another episode on right now on the thing that I'm clicking through. I'll throw it out there. It's on a channel I don't really know much about called Pivot. PIVT on DirecTV. It's 267. There's a show called The Operatives, and I watched one the other day, and it's these three guys. I think two of them are real-world snipers, but their job was to go in a real dangerous place and get real-world videotaping of these SEAL clubbings that was going on, and just watching how they were positioned in places where literally if they were seen, they would have been killed, kind of stuff. It's kind of a neat show.
You mean like animal seals?
Yeah. Sorry, I should have said that.
I don't think you can club a Navy SEAL. I think you might try. You might even give it about 20 feet, and then that would be the last thing you.
So is that a big epidemic, killing these little seals with clubs or something?
Yeah, it was and it was brutal, dude. I had to turn it off, but they literally round them up when they come ashore, and it was like in. I think I want to say somewhere in Africa or somewhere dangerous in South America. One of the two.
Yeah, that's been going on for years, and it's horrible.
It's just bad. By the way, we still have a Marine in Mexico that made a wrong turn. Let's not lose sight of that story this week.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And fortunately, that's one story that people aren't letting go. Because, you talk about headlines getting lost, and people are holding on to that one, so that's good.
Well, I mean, I can't remember. I think Jarhead6 did a chat the other night on whether or not, what's his name? The fucking traitor, deserter dude. The fuck was his name?
Snowden?
Bergdahl.
Bird Dog, yeah.
Oh. I don't know
Whether,
what the fuck you're talking about.
yeah, the prisoner that was traded for 5 Taliban soldiers.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yep. Bergdahl.
Right. Well, anyway, so I mean, come on, we traded a deserter
For terrorists.
for a terrorist, exactly.
And we negotiated.
Right, and we can't go get a Marine that took a wrong turn in Mexico? Come on.
I just want to say I like Yankee's opinion about the whole Bergdahl for terrorist thing. And in case anybody, I'm sure everybody here remembers it, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
I just like his way of looking at it because, well, number one, it makes some sense. Like, there's a little more thought put into it. It might not be the right train of thought, but it's more thought than, I can't believe we traded this guy for those guys. It's like there's just that next step of thought put in. It might be in the wrong direction, but at least there's one more step of thought put into his opinion.
Yeah,
and
you don't.
It makes me feel better at the end of the day so that we're not just trading high-value prisoners for deserters. It's like that. Even if that is what it is, I don't want to think that our government works that way. At least at some level, it doesn't work that way. So maybe it's just me putting my head in the sand, but I want to act like they really weren't that valuable anymore because any information they had is so old that it's not even worth, it's not even useful anymore. And we got back a deserter so that he could face courts here.
I go the opposite way and say they inserted tracking devices into them that they will then hit with laser beams and drop bombs on it sometime in the future.
Okay, that's a better opinion, and so now I'm changing my best opinion on the situation to tech.
I'm going to hope that they were smart enough to do something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are we talking about
you got to
those
remember,
5
no
Taliban that
soldier
got
left
let go?
behind.
Are we talking about 5 Taliban that got let go? Because one of them went and is with the ISIS troops.
Right, exactly. That's what I'm saying. It does.
This whole thing should just fucking shot him. Call it a day.
You know what, though? Kevin brought up a valid point about, I think it was Kevin, because, you would think with all the technology and all the satellite imagery and all the GPS technology, and we could go on, and not to mention all the spying going on, the cell phones. I mean, how are crimes even being committed anymore? And because, without being solved, it's like they can spy on us on our phone, on our computer. I mean, I don't understand how all these things are even happening anymore with all this technology.
Maybe they are plants, It's like maybe we let them go and we're tracking them and we're seeing how far they go so we can just kind of figure out where more people are at.
I think you're giving them way too much credit. We should, to be perfectly honest, we shouldn't even have tried to get that asshole back who walked out in the middle of the night. Fuck that guy.
Well, his own people didn't even support him. They're like, he was a deserter.
Exactly.
And they lost men looking for him.
If he was a deserter, I would rather him face courts here than be with the people who want him over there.
Men,
so we can pay for him to sit in a military prison?
Men died looking for him.
Yeah, and we're going to pay for him to live the rest of his days in a prison. Yeah, no.
Yeah, fuck that. I'd rather him just rot over there, wherever.
And I will say this, it does kind of point to, if he is brought here, he is found a traitor, and he does go to prison. It sets an example. If you desert, If you desert, we're gonna get you back no matter what the cost.
Well, that's never been an issue though, because I mean that's the military's always had a zero tolerance on that. So
Yeah, except
Well,
back in
actually,
the day,
having such a public,
If they have a zero
but having
tolerance
such a
policy, they
public
have to
figure.
enforce it.
Zero except when tolerance policy.
yeah. Except when we feel like letting five guys go and we need a half-assed reason to do so.
I mean, what are they gonna do when
We used to
they get
shoot guys.
they get like a a lieutenant, or they capture a lieutenant, or a captain or something like that. And
Hold on, there's a difference between being captured and what this guy did. He walked, deserted, and then spent time with the enemy.
right, I mean, it's saying that just kind of opens up for the terrorist point of view that, we had this, whatever his rank was, private, corporal, whatever. We got this guy. We got five high-end five high-end guys back. What if we got, a higher-ranking officer? What's going to happen then?
First off, again, capturing in combat is a lot harder to do than when somebody walks to you and is like, "Hey, I deserted."
I know. But I'm just saying it gives the Taliban, something to aim for. We can get more of our people out.
You mean as opposed to skyscrapers with aircraft? I mean, come on. What more do they need? They're not about the officer that they might be able to get maybe if they do things perfect. They're about setting examples and trying to get more people to their cause.
Well, I kind of look at it like Palestine. Palestinians will actually, if they get a soldier, they'll barter for the return. So they'll get like 100 of their soldiers back for one of Israel's.
Begin
Hey guys,
talking.
I gotta bow out tonight though, but I'll see you guys next week for sure, and probably in between sometime. So thanks.
Talk to you
all
later.
right, Tech, appreciate it, brother.
Yeah, appreciate it as well. Take care, guys.
Bye.
Yep.
Yeah, you're talking two different mindsets. First off, you're talking a terrorist organization versus a country that believes it has a right to a particular spot of land.
Which Israel is basically has offered to give them all the land that they want if they stop these attacks. And Palestine's response to that is, we're just going to keep attacking until you're gone.
Well, then fuck them and let Israel do what they want.
Yeah.
Just
That's
butt out
the
of it.
difference.
Let Israel do their thing. Because if we let Israel go, we're not going to have this argument anymore.
Yeah, I'm going to say that's, they're both, Palestine technically a country, but really just a bunch of terrorists.
Well, my problem is
They have the same mindset as the Taliban. They love death.
well, my whole issue with that whole thing is the fact that they've been fighting each other over land, territory, religion for hundreds of years, and I don't understand why we think we're gonna go over there and be the mediator / peacekeeper of these fucking people that, I mean, that have that much history and that much, disdain for each other. We're never gonna be able to mediate that situation.
No. I mean, even Egypt, when they try to call a ceasefire, isn't 100% successful.
When has Israel ever said that they'd be willing to give the Palestinians land? As far as I'm concerned, they are adamantly against a two-state system.
Oh, they're willing to give them land.
I don't.
Give them all of Gaza Strip. No, they're willing. They were willing to give them all of Gaza Strip and whatever the other one is.
Yeah, I've not heard anything of that nature.
Is there anything like in the Gaza Strip? Like, is there any kind of like farmland, or is it literally?
It's not
was
a
our
it's
piece
not.
of geography at one point, and we want it back.
It's a religious thing. It has nothing to do with what the land can actually provide.
Well, Israel has a history of giving up land to stop somebody from trying to kill them, and that's what Egypt. Egypt got all of Israel's oil land, and Egypt stopped attacking Israel.
Yeah. When was that? Like, because I don't really feel like looking up the entire history of Israel. When was that? When did that actually happen?
70s, I think.
Yeah, I remember they had some kind of conflict. I think
Was that
76.
before or after we backed them with our military equipment?
I think it was after.
Yeah, it was pretty
But
much
don't
after.
quote me on that.
Because I know that the Israelis have F-16s that we give them and fund them and send them parts and missiles and everything else, and they also have our F-15s, which we fund, provide parts for, and all that fun stuff. But everything I remember in my lifetime about the Gaza Strip, Israel hasn't moved at all.
Israel captured the Gaza Strip through military action.
Correct.
Yes, parts kits. We can order F-15 parts kits. No. Yeah, so I don't... We've always asked Israel to not go after these people. So I don't understand where anybody thinks that if we let Israel off the leash that this is going to end nicely.
It won't end nicely. I mean, if they get the first hit, at least in my opinion, if they get the first hit, Iran is
Have you seen
that close to a nuclear bomb, they're just going to go out there and wipe out Iran.
Have you seen what Palestine actually has for military equipment? You should look that up and then just laugh
Pick up,
hysterically.
yeah, it's
Because
horrible.
With knives velcroed to them.
Yeah,
if Israel is left alone to take care of the problem on their own, it's going to be over quickly. And
there'd be
Israel's
no
gonna be standing.
there'd be no Palestinians left.
But back to the original thing, it doesn't really equate to the Taliban and trying to capture people, because that's not what they do.
I mean, my theory is that we support Israel and give them equipment so that they can sit there and maintain themselves, and that all the people in the Middle East will be ticked off at Israel and sitting there and still sell us their oil. I mean, it's a great way to just keep them at bay, having them focused on someone else.
I have to find where I looked it up. We don't even get a lot of our oil from the Middle East anymore.
Not anymore, yeah.
In
fact, we can thank our current administration for screwing up OPEC's power control of our oil drilling capabilities. It used to be when we wanted to go drill because the price of oil was too high, OPEC would flood the market and we would not explore. Our current administration screwed up their ability to do that, and now we've drilled for 6-7 years.
Yeah, I remember when Obama took office, gas was like $1.89 a gallon, and now it's almost $4 again, or $4 depending on where you live.
I'd have to check the numbers, but I don't think that's right.
Yeah, $1.89.
Yeah, I don't think it was $1.89 in the last.
Oh, go for it! Go for it! Look it up. You'll be really surprised how cheap gas was when Obama took office. Because right before Bush left, I can't remember what he did, but something happened and the freaking price of fuel fell drastically.
I remember seeing that chart that Yankee posted. He actually screen shared it. And if you look at it, he was saying if you look at inflation and everything, but the gas prices hasn't.
Look, every single price of every good you have is directly dependent on the price of fuel. And I'm a truck driver, and every single item you can buy goes on a truck at some point.
Yeah, no, I agree with you there.
And all the prices, whether it be food or clothing or toys or ammunition, firearms, the price is directly related to fuel price.
Yeah. But I'm saying in this chart, he said, but I was thinking it's $1.89, whenever it was time. Boy, our inflation has really doubled. It's almost double the price of gas than it was, now.
Yeah. Nathan, have you managed to find that? Because I'm just lazy right now. I don't really care to look it up.
No, I'm looking at the historic price of gas. I went back all the way to 2007, and
that's not very historical, Nathan.
Well, hold on. I chose 9 years just to kind of get a view. And he's right. It was $1. The lowest it got, it plummeted to $1.59 right about the time before Obama took office. But just 3 months before, it was at $4.10 a gallon.
Yep.
Yeah, look at, I have the chart on my
Something specifically happened to drop the price, and then it rose back up.
Right.
Have you guys seen my screen?
Yeah, that's what I was looking at.
Here's November 2008. Here is August 2005. Wait, hold on. Let's see if I can go back 11 years. All right, 2004. Where is it? Here's when Bush got elected, so he would have taken office about. Oh no, this is when he took office right there. So it looks like it was about $1.50, $1.52. And when Obama took office, right about here, it was about $1.52. But of course, that's just for Oklahoma. But I'm assuming that the rest of the nation isn't too far off.
Well, Bush took office in what, 01 or 2000, right before
Oh, he
9/11.
took office in 2000, didn't he?
Yeah,
well,
so-
this one goes
Yeah,
back.
2000.
Yeah, so, I mean, but yeah, it did go up, but something happened to bring it down, and whatever Obama did, he couldn't keep it down. Well, actually, he did a pretty good job up until 2010.
You make it sound like he wanted to keep it down. His intention was to try to make everyone go green by keeping gas high, and that's what really broke OPEC's control of our exploration and keeping Exxon from exploring.
Well, and that's got to change, because there's no fucking reason we should be paying $4 a gallon for gas.
Not when the actual barrel price hasn't gone up that much. It's only the prices that you're seeing are based on excess taxes.
Right. Well, here in New Hampshire, they just upped the state gas tax because we don't have sales tax, so our prices jumped another 4 cents a gallon.
Well, I mean, again, I don't think, if this administration was truly interested in us using gasoline and exploring and doing all that, they would have okayed that pipeline from Canada coming in, but they did everything they could do to block it. They want us all to go green. They want us all to drive hybrids. I mean, that's what they would love.
The future of transportation is not in electric travel.
But you have to understand, the current administration is living in a dream world.
Oh, I understand that just fine.
What they want and what is realistic are two different things. Their intention is to drive us all to go green.
Which it's really funny if anybody's familiar with the automotive production capacity and what it takes to actually produce a hybrid vehicle, or even worse, an all-electric vehicle. It's stupid expensive and takes ridiculous amounts of fossil fuels just to produce those vehicles.
Somebody on here said that it only takes like $60 or $80 more to produce a hybrid vehicle than the same
For
vehicle.
sure. That battery, that huge lithium battery that sits on the seats.
I'm not saying I believe it. I'm just saying that somebody on here, I forget exactly who it was, said that it only takes like less than $100 extra to produce a hybrid version.
Well,
yeah, the reason they're so much more expensive is because the car companies want you to drive a fossil fuel vehicle instead of.
Yeah, we'll blame Yankee. He's not here to defend himself.
They also have to factor into the cost that if you are mining lithium, you're mining whatever materials are going into manufacturing those batteries and different components for those electric cars. A lot of the times, like take the Japanese vehicles, they have to mine that stuff from like South America, then ship it all the way over to Japan to be manufactured, and then ship it from Japan to the United States.
Well, look, I mean, if you want to look at hybrid cars and what they cost to manufacture, Nissan really bet the farm on the Leaf. And that's their all-electric piece of crap that like 8
I haven't thought about a Leaf in probably 2 or 3 years.
Right, but now when Nissan did
I've
that,
seen one Leaf.
yeah, there's no electric charging stations anywhere around here. I live in the northeast United States. I don't know where there's even one. The only way you're going to get good green cars is to go hydrogen, but the government doesn't want us rolling around with hydrogen fuel cells because you have a hydrogen bomb in every vehicle on the road.
That's not what a hydrogen bomb is. A hydrogen bomb is a fusion bomb. You don't produce fusion in a hydrogen vehicle.
But
you drive around in Hindenburgs. Come on, get your analogies correct.
All right. Well, every car that's out there that runs on fossil fuels, that battery under the hood can be hot wired to be an explosive. A fairly powerful one.
Yep.
And now a
And
hydrogen
hydrogen
fuel
is the
cell
way
is
of the
just a
future.
really big version of that, essentially.
Yep.
Has the same abilities. And nobody
It's-
wants that.
and there are hydrogen vehicles out there, and there are hydrogen filling stations.
Where?
Yeah.
Try to remember.
Hey, what do you guys feel about CNG vehicles, compressed natural gas vehicles?
I worked for a waste removal company who's recently transitioned some of their fleet over to CNG. It's effective, but the problem is the fill process takes hours. There's no way to rapidly fill those without having issues.
You mean the big tanks or the vehicles themselves? 'Cause I saw a guy fill up his truck.
The
next to mine,
truck.
the same time it took me.
If you do a rapid fill on a CNG, well, keep in mind I'm talking commercial grade CNG. If you do a rapid fill, you can only get about 40% of capacity. The trucks that we have, then they fill for 8 to 10 hours overnight to get 100% of the tank full.
Is that just because of the pressure difference?
I'm sorry, what was that?
Is that because of like you have a certain psi in the tank, and then you have a certain psi in the actual vehicle itself, and then after a certain, it's like, and as the volume flows out of the large tank into the vehicle, the pressures become more equal, and then just to even them out and get 100% fill, you just have to wait a long ass time.
Pretty much. That's the really short, simplified version. But yeah, it's if you had to pull over and fill up just to make the rest of your trip, it's not a big deal. But if you want to maximize the vehicle's performance and distance, you have to fill it over a slope or over a longer period of time.
Yeah, and what's the distance that you can go on a full tank?
Well, as far as a commercial grid, because that's what I have experience with, they get about the same out of a tank of compressed natural gas as they do out of 150 gallons of diesel.
Okay.
So.
And if that were a battery-powered truck, it'd go for like 2 miles.
Well, if it was,
yeah, exactly.
If you wanted to equate it, what I think the Leaf gets 300 miles, maybe on a full charge. That might be really generous.
To recharge, yeah. And then
now,
it takes all night to recharge.
Is the Leaf 100% electric? There's no gas combustion at all?
The Leaf is electric. Hold on, I'm going to look up the Leaf because I think I'm being way generous on that.
Right, and the amount of time it takes to recharge is incredibly slow.
Yeah, it's an 8 to 10 hour charge cycle if I remember correctly.
Where hydrogen, if you fill up the tank, it's a little bit longer than if you were filling up your car with gas, but it's not that much longer. So.
Okay, so somebody did a conversion. It's plugincars.com just for the Leaf. Real world mileage apparently is 27 to 38 miles per gallon, so to speak. And you can't. Oh, here's a great thing. Don't charge it more than 80% of its capacity, and don't discharge below 20% of its capacity.
Yep, you greatly reduce the battery life.
If people treated those Leafs like they treat their iPhones, they would have the same problem. In 2 months, they'd be like, "Why is my Leaf battery so dead?"
Right. Now, I was way, way, way generous. The Leaf has a 100-mile range. So if you were to upscale that system to a commercial vehicle that at max weight weighs 80,000 pounds, it would go about 10 miles.
So I wasn't that far off.
Pretty much.
Said too.
Yeah. So that's. But there is a benefit to electric drive, and I'll tell you what it is. It's instant torque. That motor can give you 100% of its torque ability immediately.
Yep.
Where anybody who drives a car or knows anything about modifying cars, likes cars, knows that it takes time to build up torque, and then you got your torque at this horsepower, or at this RPM, and then your peak horsepower is way the hell over here at a higher RPM.
Yep.
That's why electric engines and motors are really good as like starter motors, or like in plants where you need a lot of torque to like move things around. But that's why they aren't in vehicles, because it takes a lot of energy to do it.
Right. So there you go. There's my automotive knowledge and how it relates to fuel prices, and which eventually relates to foreign policy.
Somehow.
In a roundabout way, I suppose.
Hey, we got here. We got to talking about electric cars from the fucking Taliban over hiding in a mountain somewhere. So
Alright,
6 degrees of separation works.
that's it.
I think the best vehicle to hunt the Taliban in is one of those four-wheelers, but that runs on electricity because they can't hear you coming.
Oh, they can hear you. You get that nice.
What do you call it? I used to watch a hunting show where they called Closing the Distance, where they're all bow hunting. But they had one of those four-wheelers that's like ran off golf cart batteries instead of a motor engine. They would be on top of animals, because they'd be going 20 miles an hour. They'd be on top of stuff before it knew they were there. They're going, just cruising.
Yeah, see, that's where electric would probably work really well, is the recreational vehicle end of things. Because you can take a lot of the weight out and gear it differently.
What do you mean? Electric cars are a lot heavier than conventional cars because of the battery pack.
Yeah. Now, having worked on Toyotas, which includes the original Prius when that was released, which, for those who don't know, if anybody remembers the Toyota Echo, a Prius is just a hybrid version of that. Same drivetrain, same transmission, same four-cylinder motor that powered it until they, changed it later on. And those battery packs weigh, I think the one in the current regular Prius is about 210 pounds. So about my weight, and it's right underneath the back seat.
Now, what's the this is way off, but what's the probability of the battery either A, leaking, or B, just short-circuiting and causing a fire?
Toyota back in 2006 recalled the Priuses for battery issues and short-circuiting problems. I remember because I was working there and we had one or two coming in a day. Also, battery life was a problem. If somebody ran out of gas and figured, oh, well, I can drive on the battery for a while, and they killed the battery would never take a charge again. It was fun. But they can short circuit, they can catch fires, and the LiPo style batteries, if discharged to zero, can actually melt down and explode.
That's awesome.
And you want that under your back seat.
You spill your drink in the back seat, can you electrocute yourself too? Because that would be like the trifecta.
I'm not crazy enough to try it, so. But yeah, I don't. The whole electric thing is just not my bag. Not when I can get 38 miles per gallon out of my four-cylinder Cobalt SS. So. But I also pay for premium fuel, which kind of sucks.
Yeah, that does suck.
Yeah. I don't get to buy regular. I have to buy the expensive shit.
For what?
I have a 2007 Chevy Cobalt SS with a supercharged four-cylinder.
Premium fuel.
Yeah, 91 or 93 octane only. And then full synthetic oil. So it's like $60 for me to do my own oil change.
A Cobalt Super Sport, does that go fast enough to put out a white trash fire?
It's a fucking Cobalt, so it's like.
Yeah, mine's a right around 300 horsepower Cobalt. After all the shit I've done to it.
Yeah, nice thing about the synthetic oils though is that oil changes are so.
Oh, dude, I'll never forget. I bought a brand new car, and I took it in for my first 5,000 mile oil change, right? And the guy told me, oh, dude, the guy said, oh, well, this car doesn't need an oil change until 10,000 miles. And I was like, you're smoking crack. And I was like, and he said, no. I was like, dude, I get my shit changed every 3,000 to 4,000. He's like, nope, this is synthetic so-and-so. It's got the so-and-so motor in it. You don't need an oil change for 10,000 miles. I was like,
let me stop that shit. And Quark, to specifically address what you said, 3,000 on the dot. I don't give a fuck what oil's in the motor. It all breaks down the same, synthetic or not. And I did that shit for a living. 3,000 miles.
I've got 10,000.
Well, how can they get away with saying?
Because that was mobile. That was Mobile's thing. They released a big-ass marketing ploy. They released the 5,000 to 10,000 to 15,000 mile oils, which they did a study, which, if you notice, you can't get that shit anymore. They did a study. It broke down exactly the same. Mobile 1 is one of the worst synthetic oils you can buy. I put Royal Purple in my car every single time, and that shit's not cheap. It's like $9 a quart. And it's every 3,000 on the dot. You want your car to
So you're
last
telling me
300,000 miles, you put good oil in it.
You put $36 a gallon of synthetic oil into your car, and you say it breaks down the exact same as the super, super cheap stuff you can find. So it doesn't matter if only 3,000 miles, but you still put the expensive.
The different mobile oils broke down the exact same. Now, there are differences in qualities. If I put conventional oil in my car will make it about 100 miles before the motor blows up. Because my car is specifically designed for extremely high viscosity synthetic oil only. And if I put conventional oil, the seals will crack, the rings will crack. Because there's additives in synthetic that once you have synthetic oil in your motor, you can't go back to conventional oil.
So synthetic oil is kind of like smoking cigarettes. You get addicted to it, you can't stop until you change cars.
Yep, pretty much.
Okay. So you agree with me, you embrace it.
Yeah, no, synthetic oil has a lot of high performance benefits. Now, if you've got if you drive a fucking 04 Toyota Corolla that's got a whopping 80 horsepower and you never go over the speed limit, you don't need synthetic oil. Use conventional, it'll be fine. But if you drive a high-performance car, synthetic oil definitely has its benefits for dissipation of heat, holding up better under high heat, so on and so forth. But the breaking down thing was specifically between mobile, 5,000, 10,000, 15,000. It all broke down the same. But rule of thumb is 3,000 miles for an oil change.
I feel cheated.
I've got another question for you. The computer system in my truck, it has what it calls like an oil life. It has like an oil life monitor or predictor estimator thing in it. And what it says in the manual is it measures the load on the engine per revolution, and then it assigns it a value, lower values for lower loads per revolution, higher values for higher loads per revolution. It counts the revolution at each load or whatever. It somehow comes up with a tally.
You drive a Chevy?
Yeah.
Yeah. I've got the same oil life indicator in my car. And you know what? You know when I change my oil?
Probably
66% is exactly 3,000 miles. Every single time. I've had my car for 2.5 years, and I've driven it hard for 3,000, and I've driven it nice and easy for 3,000. It's always exactly the same. I don't believe that bullshit ever. I know what it's supposed to do, I just don't think it works. I think it's bullshit. But yeah. It's supposedly those systems take into account your driving style, which is how hard you accelerate, how much gas you use, fucking all kinds of crazy shit. It also takes into account what the O2 sensors are reading, what the intake temperature is, what your exhaust temperature is in manifold, what RPM you've been running at, what gear you're in. But yet somehow it always ends up the same.
Hey, I got a quick question not related to cars.
Thank God.
I swear we already got it.
I love cars, but hey, Nathan, do you have the car CM9 or the CW?
I have most related to cars.
No, it's cars with a K and an A.
Hey, he didn't say what it was. He just said car.
Okay, so I have the hybrid car CM9 runoff gunpowder. Plus P works in it too. You can go premium.
Touche.
What I know you've had it for a while. What do you think? I'm trying to decide between that and the Smith & Wesson Shield. I was gonna go with the car, but since they came out with the no safety shield. You think so?
Well, I like the car, and my buddy across the street got the Shield, and I held the Shield, and I like the Shield better. The problem is the Shield won't fit in the cargo pockets of my pants, and I don't own it. So
The other thing about the Shield, or I'm
the
sorry,
Shield's
the other
nicer.
thing about the cars have a sweet trigger,
Yeah,
a very nice trigger, but it rides on polymer rails, and there's some other little quirky things about the car that I'm not a big fan of. But that Smith and Wesson Shield is a sweet gun.
If I wasn't carrying the car around just as a pocket pistol, I would go with the Smith and Wesson Shield over it. If you want something to fit in the cargo pocket of your pants or fit in a Sneaky Pete holster, the car's the better option for being smaller. But then again, I go to my gun safe and I typically look in there and I have 5 different carry guns I choose between. So that's my little carry gun.
yeah, it does seem like when I was doing the research and I went into the store and I fiddled with it, just to seem like the Shield's a little bit more refined. I also like that. I don't know. Doesn't the car trigger kind of have like a long reset?
Yep, you got to go all the way forward. But unlike, see, I was going from shooting a Ruger LC9 and a Keltec PM9 to the car, and when you go from those guns to the car CM9, it's a sweet upgrade. But again, if I were going to be carrying I'd prefer to carry the Shield if I carried it on my hip, but I have another gun that is just as good as the Shield to carry on my hip that I like better. So that's the only reason I haven't gotten a Shield.
Okay. What's that gun, if you don't mind me asking?
A 3-inch Kimber.
Oh, God.
Yeah. If I hadn't bought that a long time ago and fallen in love with it, if I didn't have that 3-inch Kimber, I would get a Shield.
Sounds good. Thanks.
Yeah, no problem.
And on that note, I think I'm gonna shut this one down. I appreciate everybody coming out, tuning in, participating on the panel, all that fun stuff, even though Google sucks a dick. Maybe we'll figure this out. But
I knew he wouldn't just be able to quit without cussing and complaining.
Right, no. Well, hopefully, I don't know, we'll figure it out. But thanks again, guys, and we'll see you next time.
One quick
Always a
thing.
good time.